So here's our map. Writing task 1, as you know, 15 to 20 minutes. Word count 150 words. You are given two maps, Felixstone, in two different time periods. So some of the words that you should use are constructed, erected, renovated, removed, knocked down, or demolished. If the facilities are added, you can say expanded, extended. These are exclusive map terms which I'll be putting in the description box, which you should use while writing maps of two different time periods. So as you can see, the one in 1967 and the one in 2001, there are some changes made to the map. There are some amenities and facilities that are added, as well as some are removed while others are retained. Like, for example, the golf course is retained as it is. Okay. So the diagram below shows the changes of Felixstone in the UK in 1967 and 2001. Write a presentation for a university presentation. I think it should be write a report. Write a report for a university presentation. So my first task is writing the paraphrase the question. That is my introduction. What is paraphrasing the questions? The maps illustrate, what can I say? The facilities and infrastructure of Felixstone, in the UK in two different time periods. That is going to be my introduction, because that is what it is all about. It shows the infrastructure and the facilities which were there in two different time periods, 1967 and 2001. Be careful not to write any data in your introduction as well as in your overview paragraph. The maps illustrate the facilities and infrastructure of Felixstone in the UK in two different time periods. And then maybe in bracket, if you want, you can write these two periods, 1967 and 2001. Okay. So my intro's over. I'm going to just change the so this is my intro. Now, overview, overall. What is inferred now? There are three things here. One is that some facilities are retained, some are added. For instance, the car park was not there before, it is added on. Okay, while the trees are the dunes are intact, they are retained. Some are retained, some are added on, and some are demolished. Like the fish market has been removed completely, the farmland has been removed. Okay, so these three things are your overview. Before going into the details, the overview is what you see. The first thing when you notice, the first few things that you notice when you write a map or when you see the picture, what are the things that you observe? Certain things have been removed, certain things have been added, certain things have been retained. So that is going to be my overview paragraph. Overall, it is inferred that I'm not going into the details or the data. I'm only going to write that many amenities. I already used the word facilities before. So here I'm going to write amenities were added. Some structures were retained and a few were demolished. So this is my first observation as I see the map. Okay, overall it is inferred that many amenities were added, some structures were retained, and a few were demolished in Felixstowe. That is my first impression of the map. Now I'm coming to the body paragraph. I'm starting with 1967. Okay, let me. Now, in a map, always the directions are very important. Okay, so if possible, here I'm not able to show you, but in your um booklet, you can draw a map. I've marked the directions in the map, not only north, south, west, and east, but also northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So this gives us an idea while writing the location of one thing to another. With respect to another, we can say the western side or the eastern side, southern, northern, whatever. In a map, directions are very important. So I've already completed the first two paragraphs. Now I have to write what happened in 1967. In 1967, either side of the high street, there were two shops, and to the east was a farmland, right? This whole thing is the high street. So to either side. So since it's both side, I don't think you have to write east and west. You can write to either side or left and right, maybe. Okay. And we have on the western side, we have the golf course, and on the eastern side of the high road, high street, we have farmland. So that is the first information that I'm going to write in my body paragraph 1. In 1967, to either side of the high street, there were shops, and to the east was a huge farmland. Okay, I've already mentioned the farmland. Now I'm going to write about the golf course, which was on the western region of the high street. A golf course existed to the western region of the street. Okay. Now, opposite to the high street, okay, this is opposite, there was a cafe and a hotel. This is the high street. This is a road running perpendicular to it. But the cafe and the hotel are on the parallel side or the opposite side of the high road. So I'm going to mention that to the opposite side of the high street, a hotel and a cafe used to. Now I've already written exist and it was there. So now I'm going to write used to function. Okay. What else was there? Cafe, hotel we have covered. Now to the eastern side of the cafe there was a fish market, and to the western side we have dunes and some trees. Okay. So let me talk about the fish market. Fish market I believe was demolished. In the 2001 map you can't see the fish market. And the hotel was renewed. Cafe is still there. Cafe and golf course are intact, but the hotel was moved to one side and an elaborate car park was built. These are the changes we can see in this area. Okay. Now I'm going to mention about the fish market. A fish market was situated to the eastern side of the cafe, and to the western part of the hotel there were sand dunes. No, we are not sure if it's sand dunes. Dunes and some trees. No need to add any information of our own. We don't know if it's sand dune or not. Some dunes were there. Yeah, it has to be sand dune, but let's not write anything extra which is not given. The sea below had a marina and a pier facility, no? And there was a building in front of the sea as well. So with that, we complete the 1967 body paragraph. Okay, I mentioned the fish market. Now I have to mention about the marina, pier, and the building. So why are we writing the sea below? To show the direction of the sea from the hotel and the cafe. It is below. The sea below had a marina and pier facility near to it. There was a building in front of the sea as well. In a map, everything is important. I don't think we can leave out anything. Like in a pie chart line diagram, there are certain things we can leave out. We mention the most important ones. But in this case, we can't do that. Okay. Now, the last body paragraph, I'll just share, change the font so that everything will fit in a single page. Okay, I've mentioned everything about 1967. Now, in the year 2001, what happened? What are the changes? Now, here is where you should use exclusive map terms like retain, renovate, constructed, erected, added, opened up, shifted, replaced. Okay? Now, let's talk about the upper part of the map. What happened in the upper part. The golf course and one shop was retained. Sorry, not one shop. Shops on the western side was retained, right? While the shops on the eastern side or to the left of the high street was replaced by apartment complex, by an apartment complex. If you can see these, this shops, the shops, now it is apartments. Okay, so that is going to be my first point. In 2001, the golf course and the shops on the, you can write eastern, western or left, right. Okay, so I'm going to write left of the high street was retained. Sorry, it's not left, I think. 1 second. This is to the right, sorry. High street, the shops to the right. Shops to the right of the high street were retained. Were retained. While the shops to the left was replaced by an apartment complex. Okay. Now, what are other changes? The farmland was completely removed. And what happened in its place? Some sports amenities like tennis courts, swimming pool, and a hotel were accommodated, right? Okay. So that is going to be my next point. The farmland, we have already mentioned the position of the farmland. So no need to mention it again. To the east was a huge farmland. We have already mentioned it. So no need of mentioning the direction again in the second body paragraph. The farmland was completely removed. Not a single part was retained. It was completely removed to accommodate a swimming pool, tennis courts, and a hotel. Okay. Now, what happened across the street? This part, upper part is now covered. 2001 upper part. Now, we are going to the lower part or across the street. What happened? High street. The car park was not there before. It was elaborated. Hotel was moved to one side. Cafe was retained. Then the building was demolished. You can't see the building anymore. The marina and the pier were replaced by public beach. And the fish market was also demolished and a private beach was formed instead. Then wind turbines were erected. Some more trees were planted. If you can see, there were only 4 trees here, but now there are 5 trees, which means more trees were planted. The sand dunes were also kept intact. So these are the changes we have observed in 2001 match in the lower 2001 map in the lower part of the map. So the same paragraph. Across the street, the other place we said opposite to the street. Now here we can say across the street. The hotel was shifted to one side and an elaborate car park was constructed. Anything that is new has been constructed. The dunes were kept intact. Intact and, or you can say, but more trees were planted. Wind turbines were erected near the sea. Okay. Then, but what happened, however? The building in front of the building in front of the sea was demolished. Demolished, okay. What happened? The fish market was also demolished. The fish market was knocked down, I can say, instead of demolished. Don't want to use the same word again and again. So, was knocked down and the marina and pier while the marina and the pier was replaced by private and public beach. Oh no, oh, 1 second. Which one was which? Marina pier. Oh, fish market is private beach. Okay, marina and pier, public beach. Okay. Marina and pier were replaced by the public beach, while a private beach was opened in the place of the fish market. Okay, now I mentioned about the farmland was completely removed. The hotel was shifted to one side. But did I mention about the cafe? The cafe was retained. Okay, so I forgot that point. So I'm going to write it where I wrote about the hotel only. Okay. The cafe was retained. Okay, let me add a connector here. I've written here, across the street, the hotel was shifted to one side and an elaborate car park was constructed. Whereas the cafe was retained as such, meaning no change was added to the cafe. The dunes were kept intact, but More trees were planted. Wind turbines were erected near the sea. However, the building in front of the sea was demolished. The fish market was knocked down while the marina and the pier were replaced, not was, were replaced by public beach while a private, oh, there are two whiles in the sentence. So, the fish market was knocked down while the marina and the pier were replaced by a public beach. Okay, I'll put a full stop here. Okay, let me just add on to the sentence. In addition to this, a private beach was opened in the place of the fish market. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. Okay. So we have completed the map.